Joining us now to discuss all this is Blockchain Association Executive Director Kristen Smith. Kristen, we've already seen the analysts out there this afternoon saying this is a gut check for crypto as a whole. So is it a gut check or a kick in the guts or what?
Well, yeah, first of all, it's great to be here, Eamon. But yeah, this is absolutely a remarkable week in the history of really the entire history of crypto. I don't think anybody saw this coming. FTX was, is one of the largest exchanges in the world and incredibly active here in Washington. But, it's important to remember that crypto isn't about holding money on big exchanges or holding tokens on big exchanges. Crypto is about the ability to hold your own assets, the ability to transfer and make transactions on a peer-to-peer basis without intermediaries. It's about building new financial infrastructure, and it's about building a better internet. And all of that work is continuing to go on with the developers and the builders and the businesses that are looking at the crypto industry. So it's certainly a step back, both from the market's perspective and from the regulatory perspective. But I do think that crypto is going to come out the other side of this. This is not the end of the industry. It's certainly not the end of the regulatory progress we've been making here in Washington. At the Blockchain Association, we have 105 member companies. All of them are incredibly engaged with Congress, with policymakers, in doing the education that needs to be done and advancing good policy solutions. And I think that work is going to continue when the new Congress comes back in January, and Kristen, we will come out all right in the end.
Let me talk to you about what you're hearing from your members tonight about FTX specifically, right? I mean, Binance was sort of the buyer of last resort here. That fell through, and Binance coming out and saying, look, we looked at the books here and we don't like what we see. That doesn't help them find another buyer out there of even laster resort, if that's a thing. So what happens to FTX in the short term?
Yeah, no, I think that's the big question. And I think that's really what's spooking markets with the drop in prices this evening. I do think it's important to remember from a U.S. perspective that at least as of now, the FTX U.S. customers and the Binance U.S. customers are not part of any deal that was supposed to have happened that is falling through. This is really international, overseas, global customers who are using the FTX exchange that are going to have some issues. So I think it'll be interesting to see if someone can step in. I think the fact that Binance is backing away after having gone through what was apparently a period of intense negotiation that led to the announcement yesterday morning that they were considering it. The fact that that fell through, I think, is troubling. Certainly a tremendous amount of scrutiny on FTX. We've seen the CFTC, the SEC, and the Department of Justice are starting to look at it here in the United States, but I know that global regulators are looking at it as well. So yeah, definitely a black eye on the face of crypto, but it's not the whole story.
Is it too simplistic to look at this and say, look, this is one big player just sticking the shiv in another big player in a moment of weakness? I mean, Binance came out and said, look, FTX needed help. We agreed to this non-binding deal. Then after a certain period of time, they say, well, wait a second, we looked at the books and it's no good, people, we're out. That seems like that's pretty much, putting the knife in, right?
It's putting the knife in, but yeah, I think the evidence is starting to pour out that there were some significant problems at FTX. I mean, I think if you're a U.S. customer and you go to one of the large U.S. exchanges, they're holding that asset on your behalf. They're a custodian of that asset. Crypto exchanges that are holding customer funds are not supposed to be acting as banks, and that appears to be, what FTX was doing, at least by some of the initial reports that we've seen. And so I think that this is an anomaly. This is not what most actors in this ecosystem are doing. But yeah, it's certainly troubling. I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of investigation and attention on this next year.
If it's an anomaly, it's a very big anomaly tonight. Let me ask you one last question before we let you go. The crypto industry has sort of likened itself to the CFTC. They say that's sort of the group that we want regulating us, not necessarily the SEC. That's been the argument we've heard. Is that where you think this is going to land, or you think the SEC is going to have to get involved now that we saw what we saw today?
Yeah, no, listen, I think Congress wants to pass legislation that gives the CFTC the authority to regulate spot exchanges, like the ones we've been dealing with today. And there are several bills that have been introduced this Congress. Obviously, this Congress is about to come to the end, but I do think that those bills, the Responsible Financial Innovation Act by Lemus and Gillibrand, the Digital Commodity Exchange Act, also the Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act, I think all of those are going to resurface again, and there's going to be a very serious conversation about figuring out the right way to regulate centralized exchanges, and separately from that, figure out what, if anything, needs to be done with this world of DeFi, because the true crypto is happening in the DeFi. CeFi, these centralized exchanges, they're the on-ramps to this crypto world. It's the DeFi stuff that would prevent the types of problems that we've seen with FTX in the past 72 hours. And so, I'm really optimistic. There's a lot of good, smart, hardworking people here in Washington that are doing the right things and having the right discussions. I think the bulk of the industry is sitting at the table and is prepared to have these conversations. Yep. And, we're excited to be here. And yeah, it's going to be a rough time here in the short term, but I think in the long term, we're going to be great.
Kristen.